Hey y'all, welcome to Finding My Way with Pi, Purpose, Intention, and Emotion. I am Pi. Today I want to come back to a topic I think I've talked about previously, but I want to give an actual example of how I applied it. I want to talk about self-compassion. And self-compassion really has to do with basically loving yourself through something that feels difficult, instead of berating yourself, shaming yourself, making you feel bad, negative self-talk, etc. I did a meditation today with it was a guided meditation by Tara Brach. It was about 10 minutes and it was for self-compassion, and the technique is RAIN, so acronym RAIN, in the RAIN in the self-compassion, and R is reflect, A is accept, I is investigate, and N is I forget. I forget what the N is, but basically it's I think it's nurture or something like that, but it's what do you need to hear. So it starts by, what's coming up for you right now. Where is something where you feel some pain and suffering, or some resistance, or some challenge, or some hurt? What's going on in relationships? And something came up for me. We have a little bit of a bump in the relationship with my daughter. It's just a part of this unfolding of our changing situation. Our money situation is changing as well, and money's a loaded topic, and everybody's got different emotions and fears and beliefs and resistance and all of that with that. Well, teenagers are also subject to that, and we're just working through the process. But the relationship, there's some exchanges that feel hurtful, and then that elicits a reaction in me. And through this RAIN and self-compassion process, I just wanted to walk you through what this looks like when it's applied. And this is the process that I did and went through with the meditation. So just a fair warning, this is very deep and vulnerable, and there are roots and beliefs that we have deep inside of us from things that we may have experienced in our lives, traumas, for example, that embed themselves in our bodies and in the neural pathways in our minds, and they come up when they're stressed, or when there is a similar feeling of pain, and they pop up. And this process I went through today really helped me identify this underlying belief that I had. It's I feel I just feel raw. I feel like a raw nerve and very vulnerable. I'll be honest about my fears. I'm afraid that this may be embarrassing to me or any of that. And at the same time, I know so deep inside of myself that so many of you out there have experienced traumas and probably locked in something at that time that may be under the surface impacting your life and how you feel and how you interact in relationships and all of that. And sometimes we need self-compassion to love ourselves through those moments, but also to heal and to be able to let go. So I'm going to walk you through what happened. Having some struggles in the relationship with my daughter. So going on the relationship piece of it and reflecting piece of it, what am I feeling and where is it coming from? Well, I am feeling guilt and shame for our family having to restrict spending money so much. I feel hurt that, while my daughter and I are having this tough exchange. We will work through it and I know it'll be okay, but I'm acknowledging and accepting my own feelings about it, that I feel hurt. She doesn't want to be near me. She doesn't want to talk to me. She doesn't want to act like I exist or touch me or any of those things. And she won't hug me. I feel like she's telling me, you aren't enough. You don't deserve to heal. Even though I know she's not thinking that. I think she definitely wants me to be okay. But she also wants the same financial freedom that she had before. She just can't reconcile that. This is what I'm observing. That the hurt she personally feels over this situation, I think she may be guilting and shaming herself because she can't reconcile that with her wanting her mom to feel okay also. Like, I'm, from her perspective, I'm not okay feeling like this because my mom needs to be okay, so I'm a bad daughter if I feel like this. I mean, tangled web, messy web, right? So acknowledging my emotions, acknowledging her emotions, accepting it, and then kind of investigating. What does it feel like in my body to be feeling these emotions? My heart hurts, and I have pain between my shoulder blades. I feel burdened with shame and guilt and anger over being the cause of this situation for our family. I feel anger over the toxic system that led to my burnout. I feel impatience at the slowness of what feels like healing, but also transitioning into whatever the next thing is. And also that next thing feels like it's so huge and so far away and so hard to get to. I feel like this whole time that I will be taking getting to my next thing and healing, my family will be suffering. And that I'm seeing that conflict within myself play out in the relationships that I have with my family. And I think that that's where that hurtful tension in my shoulders is coming from. In my low back and left hip, I feel that's kind of tied to like the fear and the self-worth aspect. Like, what if I try this new approach in my life and it doesn't work? And then is it suffering for nothing? That ties to self-worth, and my self-worth is tied to, how successful would this transition be? Listen, none of this is truth. This is just acknowledging and accepting what's going on in my body, reacting to the thoughts that I have that are causing the emotions that I'm feeling. And this exercise of self-compassion is going to allow me to identify this situation that's going on, okay? This situation that's going on. What belief is coming up? But what belief is underlying the suffering and the struggle emotionally that I'm feeling in this situation? This is the hardest part to share, but I want to share it because I think maybe someone out there needs to hear this. The belief that popped up, and it was very clear for me, was that if I am not enough, someone will die, and it will be my fault because I wasn't good enough. Sound insane and extreme? It is extreme. It also sounds a lot like what a 15-year-old decided was true when her dad died. Let me explain. My biological father, we always say he suffered his demons. Okay, so he struggled with alcoholism and drugs. So I won't go into all the details. There's a lot of messy details here. But let me just say that every time he came back from a bender, when he would be gone for long periods of time and then completely strung out, and he'd come back and show up at home, he would say he came home because he saw the picture that he kept of me on his dashboard. And that when he saw it, he was reminded of me and what I meant to him, and it pulled him out of this intoxicated haze that he was in. One time, he didn't come back. He died. And as a 15-year-old, what I internalized was that I wasn't enough. That he didn't love me enough, or that I wasn't enough to keep him from basically killing himself with his addictions. And that I bring that being terrified that I'm not enough into my life and into my relationships. Whenever, something stressful like this pops up, and then I feel helpless and terrified. Okay. Whew, that was hard to say. The next part of this process, walking you through the process of self-compassion and applying it. I've acknowledged what it was, I've accepted it, I've investigated it. I've identified the underlying belief that drives it. And now moving into the nurturing and compassion piece of it for myself. What is it that I most need to hear right now? I needed to hear it wasn't your fault. It actually had nothing to do with you. It does hurt, and it's okay that it hurts. I needed to hear, I love you. This time that you are taking for you is okay, no matter how anyone reacts. You are loved and worthy. I'm here with you. You are not alone. I will not leave you. And then I realized I needed to take this one step further. See, this has plagued me for a long time. This happened when I was 15. I'm in my 40s. I'm ready to let this go. I'm ready to heal from this. So then I realized, it's not just what I need to hear from myself. Let me go through the exercise of imagining if what I needed to hear from my dad could actually be said to me by him. If he were standing in front of me now, what would I need to hear from him? And allow myself to feel that. This is what I would need to hear from my dad. I'm sorry I left you. I hurt you. I left when you needed me most. I knew I was hurting you, and I didn't stop myself. I was not capable of the love you needed from me, and I made that your fault. It's not your fault. It was never your fault. I was wrong to place that burden on you. Your spirit and heart and soul are clean and pure and good and worthy. Life needs you, clear and open-hearted and good and full of love. The fear of not being worthy is just a fear. It's a falsehood that I shackled you with through my actions. I was wrong to do that. It was abusive to do that. The truth is that you are worthy, you are whole, and you can be free now. You are no longer shackled. I am no longer suffering, and I will no longer hurt you. Now I simply, truly love you for the beauty you are. I now get to love and inspire and guide you truly because all the disease that crippled my physical being is gone. I am pure light, pure love, pure purpose and being. And I free you from the hurt I shackled you with. I am sorry I left you. I am proud of you that you have healed and created strengths out of your hurts. Now go be glorious, worthy you. I will always be here, guiding you free of hurt, manipulation, and disease, only grounded in truth, pure love, light, and compassion. I will never leave you again. And I love you. Do you have a hurt somewhere deep back in your life that still hurts, even if it's decades old, that still pops up, or maybe you didn't even realize it popped up in a situation you're dealing with in your relationships in that moment, because we're so busy and we don't slow down and stop and settle into, wait a second, where's this coming from? What am I feeling? What is my body feeling like? Is there some belief that's coming up here? What do I most need to hear right now? That is self-compassion. I hope that sharing this is just maybe just a demonstration of how you can apply self-compassion through some of the most difficult things that you have inside of you. We all have them, and we all hurt, and we all feel ugly things sometimes. And typically, we say mean things to ourselves for feeling them, when really what we just need to do is accept it, investigate it a little bit, understand it better, identify what's underlying it, but don't forget this part. What do you most need to hear right now? And say that to yourself instead. Unlock the healing that self-compassion can bring you. Thank you for being with me on this journey. I'm so glad that you're here. And I hope this helps you too. I'll see you tomorrow.